And this is my review of the Edelkrone Skater 3D, and we're starting right now. Hello, my name is Daniel. Welcome to the Crosslink channel. I would like to help you being more successful with 3D printing, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything. So if you remember, I've already tested one of Edelkrone's Ortak 3D printable products, which was the Flex Tilt Head 3D. And this is actually an additional product here that we're testing today. It's the Skater 3D. So what's the Skater 3D? It's a little dolly that you can put on your table surface and push it around so you can put your flex tilt head on top and then move your camera smoothly around a flat surface like a table. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by Edelkrone. So I think it's a really interesting move by Edelkrone to put out these 3D printable products, whereas they have the original metal-made products still in the store and they probably not intending to quit doing that. So you've probably seen my previous video about the Edelkrone Flex Tilt Head 3D. If not, then watch it. It's up here in this little description card. So what's the point about making 3D printable products? So if we think about product manufacturing of the future, I can imagine what Edelkrone is visioning is that they will share the manufacturing process with the end consumer. And so when we compare products like this metal-made hat that Flex Tilt Head 2 versus the 3D printed Flex Tilt Head 3D, in this case the product's price difference is huge, but it's not like dimensions. So we have $149 for this Flex Tilt Head, and then we have $29 plus your material and a little bit of time for your 3D printed version. But when it comes to the Dolly One, which is $699, and it's in a motorized dolly that you can put on a table surface versus this little Skater 3D, which is $29, the difference is like, is this even a reasonable comparison? Can this compete in any way with this motorized Dolly One? So we're gonna find out in this video. So let's first have a look at how this is built, and then let's do some comparison video shots to see whether you can watch the difference in the video and can tell with which product this video was made. So here you can see I've printed everything in one print, which is nice because it saves you time and you can just leave your printer printing overnight, doing all the work. And Edelkrone provides you with STL files either for the individual parts of the skater, or you can get this one print where they have already laid it out for an average printer size to be printed in one take. So you just have to take that STL file in, just start to print, and then you can start the next day building your skater. The second thing that you need is the box with the metal parts from Edelkrone, which they provide you when you order the actual thing, the Skater 3D parts. And this is a box of screws and bolts and CNC machine parts that we will add to the 3D printer parts, put them all together and build the actual skater with that. So my experiences with the build process so far were, the manual is actually pretty good. The base plate is very easy to mount. I only struggled a little bit when I mounted the wheels, so I had to press them together using a bar clamp because those fits were very, very tight. So the only thing left was really to put the rubber tires onto the wheels and then mount the wheels to the frame and finally put some stickers on it so it looks nicer and has a good fit for the tripod. And you can see it how it's moving. And the build quality is really pretty nice. Also want to show you that the wheels have a little bit of friction, and that's good. And you can also put this whole frame to a little bit of an angle so you can make a curved shot instead of a straight shot, and then you can put it back to the straight line using these little slots here to align that. And now we're putting on top that Flex Tilt Head 3D to finalize the setup and to be able to shoot some video. And this is how it looks like. Ain't that beautiful? And because Christmas is literally standing at the front door, we're gonna shoot a little Christmas light and make a little sequence around that. Now also I want to give you a little bit of an impression how this looks handheld. So I first did a handheld shot for everything you will see in the next sequences. So I'm going from the right to the left and then back. And you can see how this looks like in normal speed, and you can cheat around a little bit with the frame rate. So this was shot at 50 frames per second and I slowed it down now to 25. So you can get around the problem of a little bit shakiness by slowing down the video a bit. But let's have a look how this looks like with the Skater. So I mounted the camera to the flex tilt head and I immediately recognized, okay, this is gonna be a heavy setup, so I had to tighten up the screws of the flex tilt head a lot. You can see it here, and it's also a little bit shaky to my impression. So you can see it here, the camera is shaking quite a lot, so the whole frame is not that stable, and I hoped for the best results, of course, and let's see how that actually is gonna look when we do the filming. So this is the sequence shot with the Skater 3D and the flex tilt head 3D, and you can see it's pretty smooth, although you still see some of me struggling pushing this in a very consistent way. So that's gonna be still the issue if you cannot push it in a smooth way. So I decided to also slow it down by 50% and in the same time moving the camera faster to give it a little bit or more of a smoother experience. I think that works pretty good. So going to 50 frames per second and slowing down to 25, that's gonna work out very well, and you don't see that much camera shake because of the high weight of the camera and a little bit of a wobbling of the whole thing. So I think it's pretty good. Now finally, let's have a look at how this looks like with the Dolly One and the flex tilt head 2. So you can see here it's controlled by an app and it's moving around the table surface. So you need a flat surface for this to work, and I can imagine that the results are going to be very smooth. So let's have a look at the video. And yeah, I can see from the video it's really smooth, and you can also see that it's ramping up and ramping down the speed very smoothly. So there's no shake, there's no stopping. This is just going to look good, but it's also the most expensive solution, of course. So now let's have a look at another shot that I did. I wanted to do a curve around this candle, and I did it first handheld. So if you are a little bit practiced, it works out pretty well, but you can still see there is some camera shake, and you probably can work around using the warp stabilizer, but that's just a hack. And to use the Skater 3D for the same kind of setup, you just turn the wheels into an angle, you find the right distance, find the right angle, and then you can just start shooting the video, and this is how it looks like. So you can see that was a little bit of a bumpy start, the camera started to shake a little bit, but if you go back and forth and do a little bit of practice, you can get pretty much amazing results using the Skater and a little tripod like the Flex Tilt Head 3D or the Flex Tilt Head 2. And yeah, you just have to practice the ramp up and the ramp down. So to do the same kind of shot with the Dolly One and any kind of tripod, you just have to find the center spot, and you go through a little routine where you set up the camera and point it back to the center. Once it has made a little bit of a sidestep, you can just go and start filming that curve shot. And where this thing really shines and is really the super slow motion. So here you can see this is filmed at normal speed, but it's going super slow. And that is really hard doing that handheld or with the Skater, because you need to push so slow. The only way you can do this is really go high frame rate and then slow it down in post. But you can see that the actual flame movements are in real time, so that's going to be very difficult to do handheld or with the Skater. So reviewing these results makes me really happy. I think this is actually a really good setup for someone who is on a low budget and still wants to get some really good results. This is a several $100 setup. It gives you stunning results, completely smooth footage. But I think for most of the cases, if you are filming at 120p or 60p and then slow it down a little bit, you can get pretty much the same results, maybe a little bit shaky depending on the situation, but you can figure it out. I guess that's definitely possible. If you just want to take some photos occasionally, even with a smartphone, I think that's a pretty good solution to go for. That's it for today. Next week we are going to review another 3D printable product, so stay tuned for that. And until then, I wish you happy 3D printing. Have a good week. Bye bye.